Okay. Would it be okay if I shared with you a brief story on how I met Larry King? He invited me to breakfast in 90 seconds or less, but really, that's not the important thing. The important thing is what this means to you and what I've learned. Would that be okay? Okay. Now, when you wrote down that list, you're going to notice everything I talked about on that list is going to be embedded in this story. And I want you to think, how can you use this in your industry? Who were the Larry Kings, okay? Who were the Harv Eckers? Who were the Telman Knutsons in your respective industries to help you go home tomorrow and on Monday to start making more money, okay? So, I met Larry King. I met him at a charity function here in Atlanta. He was there for the Jane Fonda Celebrity Roast. I happened to go up to him. I did some research in advance of meeting him and everyone else that was in attendance that night. Ted Turner was in the audience. Jane Fonda, of course. They were honoring her. They had Rosie O'Donnell was in the audience. President Jimmy Carter, the CEO of Home Depot. A lot of other celebrities and dignitaries were in the room. I went up to Larry, like as if Muriel, to just explain to him it was a pleasure meeting him. I mentioned we had a mutual friend in Asher Dan. I mentioned to him when I chaired the Tsunami Disaster Relief Project, we were supposed to connect over breakfast and when I was the last time I was in Beverly Hills. And I ended the conversation by saying, I would really like to help you raise money for your Larry King Cardiac Foundation. And to my shock, 60 seconds later, he basically said, well, if you'd like to join us, why don't you come out next time you're in LA and have breakfast with us? Well, and that was cool, and that would be a nice story. But here's more of the, I would say, more relevant things. In terms of what I was able to do, and anyone can do this, there's a couple things you can give in terms of adding value. Remember in that list we talked about value? You can give your time, you can give your money, you can give your ideas, or you can give your contacts or Rolodex, kind of like I helped Ben with. So as it relates to Larry King, here were some of the things that I did in very short order that was able to allow me to accelerate building a relationship with him. Number one, I found out what was most important to him. I found out the Cardiac Foundation is his lasting legacy. For those that do not know, Larry King funds inner city people who may not have health insurance, and if they need a heart transplant or some kind of heart surgery, they pick up the tab, full blown. Okay? And the other thing I found out that was very important to him, when he's not working, just by asking his son, Larry King Jr., I found out he loves baseball. He loves the Dodgers in Los Angeles. He's from Brooklyn. And so you'll notice that there's a Jackie Robinson baseball card, because I bought him a Jackie Robinson baseball card after the second time that I met him. There was another 500 people in it. He was happened to come back to Atlanta 2 weeks later to give another speech. And I went and signed a little card, and out of the card fell this little Jackie Robinson baseball card. And I still remember to this day, you would have thought he was like a little kid. I still remember his reaction. He said, I know exactly where this is going to go. So moving on, in terms of ideas, he's got a charity, and I said, hey, what if anytime someone travels, they want to support your foundation, they could go to travelandcharity.com. We'll set up a little logo with a little link on your website, and if they travel for personal or for business, the money, 50% of it, instead of going to Expedia, drops right to the foundation. Is that cool, or is that cool? So he liked that idea. Now, my friend Alex Mondojan and I both do what we would call tele-fundraisers, where we can get thousands of people on the phone, share some information that's maybe a best-selling book author, and money goes to a charity. So in very short order, I shared 3 ideas and concepts that were relevant to helping them. Okay? Again, anyone can do these things. Okay? I also introduced, last November, they had the Larry King Celebrity Gala. And then what I did there is I just brought, and I reached out to a lot of my author speaker friends who I thought might find of interest going to that event, and a number of them joined us. Okay? So again, if you're just thinking, I want you to think of the thought process on helping someone else. When you help someone else, it will come back to you very rapidly. Is that a fair statement? Okay.